Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gore Calm, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. A Deloitte 2 study has told us that achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 will first require the development of a clean hydrogen market equivalent to 170 million tons by 2030. So the race is on. The problem is, as of 2021, less than 1 million tons of hydrogen demand out of the total of 94 million tons right now comes from a low emission sources, with the rest produced by fossil fuels. HPQ Silicon is a technology company specializing in green engineering processes, and today's press release, they filed a patent application for an autonomous, low carbon footprint, on-demand pressurized hydrogen production system with no electricity required. We know that's a mouthful, but it's really big, and we're going to talk about it with the CEO, Bernard Pillon. Bernard, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, George. Happy to be here.
All right. Without getting too overly scientific, but we want to explain to people in layman's terms how important this is. What is a low carbon footprint, chemical-based, on-demand, high-pressure, autonomous hydrogen production system? Talk to us like we're in high school. What does that mean?
As simple as it is, okay, it is an autonomous system where it's the wrong one I took, non-peerless, non-hazardous feedstock, okay, is put in the reactor, and a chemical process allows us to extract the hydrogen contained in water through hydrolysis. And basically what the true innovation is that we're able to basically pressurize the material at the same time up to industry standard between 200 and 1,000 at 1,000 bar. Okay, what that means is you don't need the entire expensive logistical chain, all right, to deliver hydrogen wherever you need it. Presently, transporting hydrogen, making hydrogen, is everybody knows how to do it with electrolyzer and those issues. The problem is not the cost of hydrogen when you make it, it's when you deliver it to it. All right,
big tankers,
I've seen a project which is actually at the test phase project, all right, where what they do. So basically, now people, we can remove the image.
Wait, stay with the image for a section. So, okay, it's okay. But what you're essentially doing is you're putting a reactor right by
we don't like the word reactor. We don't like the reactor. We like a system that allows
the system right beside George Combs' factory or wherever the application is needed, as opposed to me having to take delivery of these big tanks or big truckloads. Mm-hmm. So you're essentially turning that part of the business on its head, right?
We're completely changing the logistic behind hydrogen on that. Look, not too long ago, there was a big announcement by a Korean company that's setting up a massive hydrogen plant in North America, and they're going to ship it. Okay, so you have to understand how that works. There's a project in Japan right now where they're doing green solar. I'm pretty sure I have. If you give me a second, I'm pretty sure I have that image. I have it. I had it here. In the press release, we show that image, but you know, it's okay, I'm gonna take this one. Move it here, make it bigger. Okay, so this is the image that was on the press release. Okay.
So people now know that my questions you don't have in advance.
No.
Otherwise, you'd have all these slides.
Even if they were in advance. Okay. This is the traditional process, and this is what I'm talking about, right? This traditional process, and they have a system like that in where a Japanese company has a solar panel in Australia. So they generate the green energy to generate the electrolyzer to produce the hydrogen. Then, if you want to ship it long distance, you got to liquefy it. You got to bring it down to minus 253 degrees centigrade. Then you can ship it by trucks or by any issue to wherever you end up needing it, okay? And then you basically have to repressurize the back to convert it from liquid to pressurized. Then you got to ship that gases pressurized hydrogen to the dispenser system for them to be using end user. Remembering that every one of these steps are highly explosive, dangerous. So much so that many cities forbid
Yep.
hydrogen carrying trucks to enter the city.
And what
So
does that do? Okay, that's the danger side, Bernard, but also what does that do to the cost structure? Because if I got to get hydrogen now from point A to point B, there must be a ton of expense,
it can
added
go as
cost
high
that
as
goes into just the transportation side.
it can go as high as tenfold. All right. So it can go as high as tenfold the cost.
Are you talking about if
So
I'm shipping it to Mars, or are you talking about it could be 10 times the cost? I'm just trying to
it's
ship it
it's
from
it,
Toronto to Vancouver.
no, it's not a question of Toronto to Vancouver. It's the cost of it, like even small distance. If you need smaller quantities
Wow.
to certain volume within a city, which is forbidden to do it, so it basically requires a different way of bringing it. You know, limitation on all those issues. It can go by a factor of tenfold. All right. So that is really the key point where our technology really becomes important. It fits in. So the patent we have, the technology we're developing is really unique, and we're moving forward. And this wasn't done as a fluke. Okay, this doesn't come out. HPQ didn't. I didn't wake up this morning and says I'm going to be a hydrogen guy. Okay, people have followed the stories. I've always had an interest in hydrogen because there's always been a relationship between hydrogen and silicon, in the sense that silicon is probably one of the best metal to generate hydrogen. But it might require a different amount of work, but still, at the end, it will be there. And this type of technology that we're developing, okay, if the metal we use is mostly silicium X, which is our zero emission silicium, that basically means that image you see means we can deliver green silicon or green hydrogen anywhere in the world. So that's a massive advantage of what we're doing. The market's going to be big, and it fits within the three basically verticalities that HPQ has been working on, and we've been talking about our verticalities. So we are executing on our plan, and in the press release, there's a lot of material to say that, you know, by the end of 2024, HPQ will have a lot of advanced projects moving forward.
Now, this is, you just said a minute ago, I know it's tongue in cheek. You didn't just wake up this morning and said, I want to get to hydrogen. Something that I saw in the press release. Novacium is currently engaged in discussions aiming to secure grant financing from 2 potential clients. That tells me, reading between the lines, you've obviously been talking behind the scenes, because if you said here, we're trying to raise financing from the street, well, you and everybody else, right? So you could have just put out this press release, called a couple of brokers, said, I need $10, right? But when you say here, to secure grant financing from 2 potential clients, that sets off a big red light, a big green light for me there. What can you tell us about 2 potential clients? How long have you guys been speaking? Why
Okay.
do they like what you have to offer here? Like, tell us a little bit. I know you can't tell us who you're talking to, but and tell us about the nature of these discussions, because that was amazing to read.
Well, in the paragraph above, there's sort of your answer. The dual application process, designed for military and civilian users, addresses a potential client's need for a low carbon footprint, on-demand, high-pressure autonomous hydrogen production system, deployable anywhere globally, even under off-grid conditions, with safety a top priority.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Military. I'd never seen that before, but let's leave that. Okay, that's a clue. But going back to 2 potential clients, and that's a clue as to, I guess, who the client may be. That's what you're telling us. Military applications, but
At this moment, the first application or the first applications we will be looking at are going to be mostly military driven, as opposed to civilian. But the request was for a system that could have dual applications, civilian and military. But right now, it is at the demand of military organization for it. And one of the biggest reasons for that is we all know that the war in Ukraine has demonstrated that drone are going to play a more and more important role, dynamic role in modern warfare. And in that sense, the best drones, or the ones with the most efficiency, are those that have pressurized hydrogen fuel cell combination.
Do those exist right now? Because most
They
drones
are
flying
in
by
advanced,
lithium
they're in
batteries.
advanced development, they're in advanced situation. There's actually a few model. The technical barriers is as follow. Okay. These drones, well, they're actually used in civilian application, those type of drones. Okay, they're used for delivery because they're long range, long power, those issues. The problem, if you want to bring them to military application, is the issue of having pressurized hydrogen on the field.
Yeah, you can't have
Pressurized
bombs
hydrogen
sitting
is
behind
not,
you.
yes, basically pressurized hydrogen. Okay, imagine the logistic chain of trying to bring tankers of pressurized hydrogen. They would be the biggest target everyone would be shooting.
Yeah, and
okay?
they wouldn't be hard to find. They wouldn't
It
be hard
would
to
not
track.
be hard to find and furthermore, the airplane regulations forbid any type of pressurized hydrogen in an airplane. So because the technical team at Novacium have been working on this project for many years, and previous iteration of the technology they're doing, although this one is a completely different thought that they had to do it, we're done with military applications. So it was sort of logical that the military with this request would come to them or to us to develop the solution. And we've done it. We're in the process of doing it, and it's advancing. So if take two and two together, and you understand what we have disclosed. We have disclosed what we can disclose at this moment. If you go to the further phrase, and it says 35 to 75%, what I can tell you, what I can tell you is that the 35 is guaranteed. And what I'm working on with the guys at Novacium is making sure we get a much higher percentage of that financing.
So how long have these discussions been taking place? Because that goes back to your point again, that you didn't just wake up this morning and say, I think I want to get in the hydrogen business.
Well, no, but if you take a look at my presentation, for a long time it's been there. One of the things we mentioned in the original press release when we announced that we had partnered and created Novacium was that the inventors, okay, wanted to be having the opportunity to develop ideas that they had to generate those type of technologies. And we, as part of bringing them and with their expertise in silicon, which are very, very useful for HPQ as we were forward developing our QRR technology, they also had the freedom to develop this for us. And HPQ isn't a catbird seat when it comes to doing this. HPQ Novacium is considered an affiliated company because of our ownership, but in reality, it's a subsidiary because I am the CEO. HPQ really decide what happens at Novacium. So it's it is really to our advantage.
I'm going to ask you about that later because we had someone on Twitter post a question. So actually, keep that thought for a minute.
Yeah.
But so essentially, in my intro, I talked about, because it came from your press release, Deloitte saying that we need 170 million tons by 2030 of clean hydrogen. But I don't think that includes, am I right in saying that this patented production system, this new production system, is opening up brand new markets, brand new applications? I mean, the military up until now couldn't even consider hydrogen for all the reasons you talked about. So do you expect to see that in other verticals as well? Then, not that you talk in other verticals, but do you expect other verticals to suddenly open up like that potentially as well, to say, well, we could never do hydrogen, now we have a chance to do it?
If you mean vertical in the sense that they'll be interested in what we're doing and looking and getting technology partners, I strongly believe that will be the case because not too many people knew that we were doing this. Not too many people knew, and that's sort of basically been sort of our philosophy. Is we advance our project, and when they reach a certain level of maturity, we'll start talking more about them publicly.
But this seems to be an advanced level of maturity here.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm sensing some confusion in the people about the next thing we mentioned. We're gonna have a prototype by the end of the year.
All right.
Uh,
Okay, wait, because that's my next question. Because people have been talking about
hmm,
the two potential clients, 35 to 75% of cost for the first working prototype of the system.
hmm.
But there were some questions out there saying, wait, there's no prototype. How can they file a patent if there's
Okay.
no prototype? What's the answer to that question?
I think the definition of prototype is where we're sort of having an issue. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. When I'm mentioning a prototype, it's going to be a prototype system that's going to be operational to the client specification that he can test in the field. Okay. It's not a prototype of the concept of how we're going to do it. That we've already tested. We already have a prototype working in our laboratories doing that. That's where we got the data to file a patent. It's like we already have that moving. We
Yeah,
have a
so this
small.
is in theory, you've got the prototype. Now you want to develop a field prototype for that
Yeah, we
specific.
should have said a field prototype because
Okay.
and it's a we'll probably end up having a field prototype and then we'll have a few of those field because they're not going to be that complicated to do and to build and to be able to have to demonstrate them to many people because the applications for it are going to be massive. Okay, and the market is sustainable. And the beauty of this compared to us, our QRR technology, is that the capital investment to enter this market for us is not as massive because we can, depending, in a certain way, it will resemble a bit like in the printing business in the sense that you don't make the money by the machine, you make the money by the ink. And there will be many industrial partners that will want to work with us and develop. So we may license some of these agreements. We may,
For
it's
sure.
the QRR for us to get for the QRR. Everybody talks about the big amount of capital this will require for us to bring a first commercial plant into it. So if you look about it, like, and when I say that, this is not something that we haven't talked about. If you just go, some people are saying this is brand new. Well, let's just go take a look at our deck. Our deck shows all this. Okay.
Right.
So
That's the Gantt chart you and I have talked about in the
that's
past.
the Gantt chart there is at the end. Well, there was hydrogen tech developing a new autonomous process for making hydrogen via hydrolysis of silicon and other material in 2023. Oh, whoa. So we just announced today we have the patent for this. We were talking about this. Building a lab scale for a proof of concept with this new. That's it. This is what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to be building large scale prototype for commercial applications. So we're talking end of 2024, beginning of 2025, we'll be starting to commercialize this technology. And I can tell you from the feedback we're getting just by the people that are hovering around, the people at Novacium, is going to be moving forward. And what I want investors to understand is, so this is part of our all indicative, okay? 2024 is going to be a crowded year. We're going to have the fume silica reactor moving forward. I believe in 2024 is when we're going to start to get some serious offtake discussion once the pilot plant is working. We're going to have our battery initiative really moving forward. Okay. And we'll have the QRR continue to develop to be able to give the feedstock required for the battery initiative and eventually for the hydrogen, because there will be a demand for green hydrogen on demand anywhere in the world. So it's not something new. It's not something out of the blue. It's not something we haven't communicated. It is just that we've reached another milestone in the development of this. Okay, which
Yeah,
is
no,
part
we've
of
definitely talked about hydrogen in the past. I don't think any of us really realize, look, again, that you're talking to two potential clients to secure financing for a first prototype working out in the field. I think that took a lot of us by nice surprise. And people at home are probably waiting for you to say, so I'll let you say it about the pony. What are your
oh,
go
you
ahead.
mean my one horse pony?
I
I'm
love
actually like
that.
I'm now becoming a multi-pony horse.
I you absolutely destroyed that whole saying about being a
Oh,
one-trick pony. I love
I've
it.
destroyed so many sayings, but we've demonstrated HPQ is focused on this tree initiative. Okay. And if you listen to our communication, this is really where we're moving forward. So this fits into it. I can understand that because this become more concrete. Okay. That was a bit of surprise out of this. But for me, there was absolutely no surprise. There's a big
Obviously, yeah.
puzzle that we're moving. Okay. and we're moving one step at a time. And we want to make sure that we explain it when we reach goals and areas that are strategic for us. All right. So we announced in 2022 when we started the Novacium that we were, the guys at Novacium would be working on this. Well, they worked on this. They got us this far. So it's every one of our projects is moving forward. It is not a distraction. We've structured the company in a way that we can efficiently reach those targets. And what I liked about the hydrogen technology is that its commercialization is not going to be as capital intensive as the QRR technology is going to be. So eventually, we'll be able to leverage some of the development we're doing on one side to the other. Look, the fume silica, I believe we're going to get offtake agreement. I am actually a strong believer that we will get taken out of that technology, and that will furnish us the capital to keep growing and moving forward. We are basically an innovation-driven company, and what we do is we try to leverage our innovation to be able to move. I think we've reached our full plate right now, but we have pile loads of development that is moving forward. We've announced in our battery space, it is there. We are moving forward in every one of those things, and this silicone one was an important one to bring forward to start to
this
be
hydrogen
able to,
one.
the hydrogen one. It's very important. Also, it sort of becomes difficult for me when I'm having those type of advanced discussion and potential financing. Okay, that is material information that I have to share. All right, so
right.
You had
to get this news out so you could.
I had to get this news out for me to be able to market it and talk more about it. And we were having, we kept joking about the idea of you wanted your pool heating system, but once you started to figure it out, you started to think, oh my gosh, for many other applications, they'll be there. As we demonstrated more that the system works. But then one of the message I want to say, when we talk about building a prototype, we're talking about building a functional prototype that will meet the request of the client that asked us to build it. Okay, this isn't Bernard's going to build it and somebody's going to come and see it. It's just basically clients that came and see because of the expertise that the Novacium technical guys had. And HPQ Silicone is extremely fortunate to have been able to make that transaction where, in addition to the massive work they're doing for us in the QRR silicone, they brought this technology to us.
Yeah. And by the way, I alluded to it earlier. Here's the question. Novacium brought it to us. Jonathan Demulemister, I'm not sure, it might be, I guess he had to shorten his last name because there's a limit on X, not Twitter. That's the username. But posted an interesting question I just had because I sometimes I go on just to gauge reaction to different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. And somebody else came in and said, I want to know the answer to this too. Question. How much value will this bring to the HPQ Silicon shareholder, seeing as this is a product made by Novacium? In other words, how will the company profit from this patent and future product?
Okay. Novacium is a subsidiary of HPQ. We're now only at 20%, but we will be increasing our ownership into it. And in addition to this, since we are the one bankrolling really the R&D being done, we have the exclusive right of marketing and selling those products everywhere else. So HPQ will fully get the advantage. We structured Novacium for financial optimization purposes, and it's reaching our goal. But it is really moving to where HPQ shareholders will be the big winners. I'd like to remind shareholders and investors that I've told them, and we were having this discussion. I said, remember, each one of the three verticalities, okay, could support HPQ's market cap when we were at our all-time high.
So they're company makers, each one on their own.
Every one of these are company maker. I could easily spin this out and this become an independent company and give some shares to our shareholders. But it fits well within what we're doing, and it right now feels very, very comfortable. But as I said, the fume silica, I strongly believe, because we have so much interest for what we're doing in that regard. So it's going to be the same thing with hydrogen. The hydrogen solution was known within a small group of people that were basically in the loop of the clients that were asking the material. So now it's more public.
Buddy, I can't wait to have you back to discuss more developments on the on this hydrogen side, on this new system. And I guess we're going to wait for is securing the grant financing from two. By the way, will we ever know who the client is? So let's say tomorrow you secure the grant financing for $100.
Oh, you will know. You will know.
We'll know.
This one will evolve.
Okay, can't wait for that. But in the meantime, my friend, I think I speak on behalf of all shareholders, and I say, you're not a one-horse pony, you're not a one-trick horse. But all kidding aside, it's amazing how you built this company to not being a one-trick pony. It's got 3 strong legs under it. And today's news took me by very pleasant surprise to see how advanced, the hydrogen side is going. So thank you, man. Can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Bernard Tourillon, CEO at HPQ Silicon, trades in Canada, HPQ for friends in the US, HPQFF. For those new to the story, you love renewable energy, you love the concept of clean hydrogen, and you're seeing this headline, get to the company's profile page on Agoracom, because as you saw from the slides and things that Bernard put up, multiple facets of this company, 3 strong legs underneath it, and they all intertwine, intermingle together. So we've got that kind of laid out for you in the profile page, give you a 30,000-foot view. Then head over to the company's website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us.
Oh,
have a great day.
I just wanted to add something to everybody. So when people are going to do deep dive, okay, and if you deep dive to go find Novacium's website, we haven't had time to finalize it because, to be totally honest, it's not our first priority. Our first priority is getting the R&D done and getting the work done. So we are working on this, but we haven't finalized it yet. So don't I know some people are going to freak out. It's not a high.
Novacium doesn't exist. They don't even have a website.
Yeah. Novacium does exist. It's just that the website wasn't our biggest number one priority because it's an R&D company. The company doing the sales of the goods that come out of Novacium is HPQ. So sorry, just interjected, but I thought it was an important thing to interject at this moment.
And me, when I want full disclosure for everyone, when I secure the licensing for swimming pool applications, because that's the one that I want. Thanks, Bernard. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Can't wait to the next one. See you guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.